And just briefly, the list of senior business leaders and policymakers dropping out of Saudi Arabia's Future Investment Summit this month continues to grow. The latest is US Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. He made the announcement after meeting with President Donald Trump. Shares in New York dropped after the news. The suspected murder of a Saudi journalist in Istanbul has soured relations between Washington and Riyadh. Nice doing business with you.
International pressure is growing on Saudi Arabia following the suspected killing of the US-based Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi in Turkey 2 weeks ago. Today, America, Britain, France and the Netherlands all pulled out of attending an investment conference in Saudi next week. The Saudis have denied having anything to do with the disappearance of Mr. Khashoggi. James Landell has this report.
Legacy. It's called Davos in the Desert, a big international conference in Saudi Arabia next week to encourage investment. Already dozens of companies have pulled out amid accusations the country was behind the alleged murder of the journalist Jamal Khashoggi. But now allies are withdrawing too. Britain said the International Development Secretary Liam Fox would not attend amid concerns about Mr. Khashoggi's disappearance. The US Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin also pulled out, as did the French and Dutch finance ministers. The US said it took the case very seriously, but was willing to give Saudi Arabia time to investigate and explain.
I told President Trump this morning that we ought to give them a few more days to complete that, so that we too have a complete understanding of the facts surrounding that, at which point we can make decisions about how or if the United States should respond.
It's now more than 2 weeks since Jamal Khashoggi entered his country's consulate in Istanbul and was never seen again. Turkish police are investigating claims he was tortured and dismembered by Saudi agents. Mr. Khashoggi's friends say he had been warned not to go to the Saudi consulate, and they believe his death was state-sanctioned.
Making this operation within the space of state space and in governmental space, the consulate, and doing this in such an organization, it's very, very anonymous organization, which cannot be carried out without the permission of any higher authority. Such operation needs higher authorities.
Britain has a significant trade and security relationship with Saudi Arabia, and it would be reluctant to offend a country that is an important ally in the Middle East.
Pulling out of this conference would not have been an easy decision for Britain's diplomats, but having led an international coalition against an alleged state-sponsored assassination attempt in Salisbury earlier this year, they had little choice. The allegations against Saudi Arabia were just too serious.
Today, the Washington Post published the last column Mr. Khashoggi wrote before he went missing. He spoke of how some Arab governments were trying to silence the free press. James Landell, BBC News.